Happy New Year. This is the Human Frequencies Forbidden Words of 2021. 2020 was absolutely the worst year ever. In fact, it was called an annus horribilis by the website Vigilant Citizen.
Which I believe in Latin means horrible anus. That is what I think it actually means.
And in 2020 was, in fact...
I can think of no better word to describe 2020, the year, than just a terrible, putrid...
festering...
brown...
feces encrusted...
I was going to say crusty, but that works too. Just a horrible anus.
It was a horrible anus.
It certainly was.
So we're very happy that 2020 is over, and we are hoping that 2021 will be a better year. We don't do a Forbidden Words list every year, but we did one a couple years ago, which still holds true today. You can check out the 2018's Forbidden Words. This year is a very different kind of year, and I would say that the last time we did this, it was a lot funnier. But hopefully we'll get some chuckles out of this year's list too. But a lot of what's going on with this year's Forbidden Words is we would like to dissolve this negativity once and for all and remove from our lexicon mind-controlling negative words which are shaping us into a mind of fear and constantly worrying about disease and government tyranny, and just you name it. So instead
of...
any
negative emotion, we are becoming generators of negative emotions, and that's what we seek to curtail.
And mind control is done through words. So let's go into the words of this year, and let's try to get rid of these words from our lexicon.
Okay. First up, I can't tell you how tired I am of hearing this word, and it's a relatively new word.
And for those who aren't looking at the screen, super spreader.
Yeah, super spreader. It's so bothersome on so many levels because whatever this disease is, whatever it actually is, it's totally curable. The cure is out there. We've talked about this ad infinitum before. So the fact that we're still talking about it, that we're still pretending, I don't understand it at all.
It's like a game of make-believe. Mm-hmm. The cold and flu and every infectious disease is curable. There is a cure for all of them. We have shown videos on MMS, and I've actually proven it on myself that this works.
And myself too. I've taken it successfully too.
And it cures everything. And actually, I'll probably have some new information to share too coming up, because I'm now reading a book that I've meant to read for some time, which is Hulda Clark's book, The Cure for All Diseases. And she talks more about electrical cures, where we're working with the body's energetic system, and herbal medicine as well. So we know that there's a cure for everything, because she literally found that everything has a resonance and can be zapped with that resonance. So the word super spreader is just completely stupid. It's not funny. It's like, I wanted to make it funny, but it's just not funny.
It can't be done.
I actually attempted to make it funny. But anyway.
Well, there is a super spreader, technically, and that is the news media and the lies and disinformation that they are spreading.
That's true. On
a super scale. So, yes, they are indeed a super spreader. Here's another really annoying one. Mandate. I'm going to look it up right now. I got the dictionary right here.
A mandate is not a law. Gabe is going to read the definition of it. But here in California and all over the country, we have these mandates where government actors are telling us that they are ordering us to do things. Like they're ordering us to stay in our house. They're ordering us to hide our faces. What is a mandate? Is this a law? Is this enforceable?
Webster's 2002, by the way, in case you're wondering. So, mandate, from the Latin mandar or mandare, to command. First definition, an order or command. Second, historical, a League of Nations commission to a country to administer some region, or this region. Third definition, the will of voters as expressed in an election.
That's the funniest one, because none of these mandates were voted on. So we know it's not definition 3 when they're doing this. It sounds like definition number 1, order.
Here's what a mandate is. A mandate, as you said, is not law. It has no legal standing whatsoever. It is just, a command given by someone standing on a ledge somewhere, basically, and it is delivered with the hope that as many people will believe it as possible. but if you know about how the law works, how the legal system works, it has no standing in law. So this one is just...
You don't have to obey a mandate. I mean, you'll probably have a lot of trouble with people if you don't. You know, I generally wear the mask in stores in LA County.
But that's to avoid getting into shouting matches.
I don't want to
with
get in
people.
fights. But it's not a law.
And we want to get our groceries. So, okay, here's the next one. Fauci. I am so sick of this surname. Actually, he's AI, so technically it is a last
name in his case. And I do not want to hear a word out of this unelected health czar. He doesn't know anything about health. He has no right to tell me what to do to protect
or anyone
my
else,
health.
or anyone else for that matter.
No.
It's again, no authority on any subject except disinformation.
Right. He's just spewing World Health Organization propaganda. And he also comes up with these outlandish new attributes to COVID every day. There's something new.
Constantly changing.
And it's always something like, oh, well, you can have it, but you don't know it. Or in some people, it does this. Really, they'll call everything COVID. That's how the money rolls in. And they do get thousands of dollars for every COVID diagnosis. I'm not sure of the exact figure, but I think it's quite high. And that's pretty much what they're going to put on your death certificate, no matter what your illness is. So
it's just like anything else. Follow the money and you'll get to the source of it.
Absolutely. The next word is affidavit. Now, we talk a lot about legal ideas on this show, and we do it in a different way than anyone else you're going to hear talking about it online. Pretty much everybody that is talking legalese on the internet is there to get you thrown in jail and to ruin your life, whether intentionally or not. An affidavit is a written statement made under oath. Okay, that's just the definition of an affidavit. A written statement made under oath. An affidavit does not dissolve fictions. It does not protect you. It is fiction. You're making your own fiction. It doesn't do anything for you. Once you are in a legal system, and by being born in a country with a birth certificate, you're in a legal system, you can't just write something on a piece of paper and then say, hand it off to a judge like, yeah, here's my affidavit. I'm going to leave now. Have a nice day. I'm going to go out for dinner and eat outdoors with a mask on now. See you later, judge. You can't just hand a piece of paper to a judge and think everything's going to be fine. And no, an affidavit does not shut down the court system. They laugh at you when you make up your own legal fiction that's not a part of their system, that their system doesn't recognize.
That's the best case scenario, is that they laugh at you. Worst case scenario, you get fined terribly or you go to jail.
Yeah, you see, the thing with legal systems or systems of law in general is that they are not compatible with each other. So if you are a first and last name, you're part of a legal system, you can't bring in the law from another system, like make up your own law, basically, and present it to them and have them even recognize it. You can only work within the system you're already a part of. And this is just, it's really sad that people think that you can just like make up your own documents. You can't make up your own IDs. I've seen people make up their own little picture IDs. They hold no water. You can't make up a document and show it to a judge and say, well, your law doesn't actually apply to me because I live under God's law. They don't recognize God's law. They laugh at you. And another thing about an affidavit is, since it is made under oath, who verifies that? That would be a notary. And a notary's job, and we're going to talk more about this later. This is just a little intro into what we'll be talking about later this year. But a notary's job is to verify that, yes, you are that legal name. If you're that legal name, you are bound to their rules. You can't just make a piece of paper saying, well, I decided I don't want to follow your rules. That would be like if a cop brutalized you, beat you up, and then wrote on a piece of paper, well, I actually don't follow the police department rules. I had this notarized, so I can beat you up because I don't like you. It's the same thing. So don't believe the BS. This is a trap. And there's more coming. Here we go. Common law. Not a fan of this one either. Do you want to take this one?
I'd rather not, actually. Well, I will say this. I know that, and again, we're just dissecting terms here. The people who are putting this information out there, they may have good intentions, they may not have good intentions. I don't know. It doesn't even matter. We're only talking about the terms themselves, not the people that are putting them out there and giving their legal opinions on. Common law is the unwritten law. So again, you're taking, you have a legal system and you're taking something that's completely different from it and trying to work it into what's already there.
You can't do it.
It just doesn't work.
It's a game.
It's incompatible.
A game has rules. The legal system has rules. It's all set out. If you bring in the rules from a different game, they won't notice it. This is part of what we'll be talking about more, because it's very important that people understand systems of law. Without a basic understanding of what law is, you need a foundation in that before you could even do anything to protect yourself. Common law isn't going to protect you. Again, it's a joke. It's not recognized. It's not the written law. If you say, well, I'm a living man under a common law. Well, you might be a living man, but if you have a first and last name, then actually you aren't living in the law.
Nope.
So if you say, well, I only obey common law, I don't obey United States law. Well, good for you, but you're part of the United States and you will get thrown in jail or fined for not obeying their laws.
It's guaranteed.
So this is another big trap, and it is really it's like a pit of vipers, this whole common law thing. Yeah. I strongly advise you avoid it. And like Gabe said, it doesn't matter how good someone's intentions are. We all want the same thing. We all want freedom. We all want to live our lives and not be bothered and constantly harassed by government entities. But this isn't going to do anything for you. This is, again, it's another set of fictions. Why bring more fiction into fiction? Why keep piling more BS on BS? We'll get more into that later, but for now, just know this is a waste of time at best and a trap that will get you in trouble at worst.
I just want to say real quick, 7 or 8 years ago, we were saying things about chemtrails that were incorrect, but we just didn't know any better. So again, it's about the information only, not the people that are sharing it. And this next term, straw man, this makes me want to just gouge my eyeballs out with a rusty fork.
I can't believe this wasn't on our forbidden words list in 2018. Sovereign was. That's why we didn't include it here. You can go back for that one, or you can watch Why We Hate the Sovereign Citizen Movement.
Or watch both.
Yeah, then you'll understand why we don't like that one. But yeah, straw man. It is a very deceptive term. There is no such thing as a straw man. Putting the word man, what people use this for is they describe a legal fiction as a straw man. So they say, oh, well, you have two yous, which is not true. They say the real you and this pretend you, which is the legal fiction. That's not you.
It's just pretend.
Yeah, don't call it a man. It's not you. It's not a living man. So don't call it a man.
Well, what this term does is that it devalues man by putting this other word next to it that has nothing to do with man. We need to be getting away from this sort of this is what the legal system does with words. They create multiple meanings, they create different meanings. They erase the whole sentiment of words, and we're not able to understand each other when that happens. So this term, gotta go.
Yeah, really what it is in the proper term for that legal name, when you've registered it properly, is a business entity. That's it.
Or a legal entity.
Yeah.
Or you can call it a registered business or a registered legal name. There are many other terms, accurate terms, that you can use other than this one. This one's no good. Deep state. This one also makes me want to just pour kerosene all over my face and just set it on fire with a blowtorch, because the state is not deep.
There's nothing deep about an over-bloated, failing company which is doing insane power grabs and tax grabs at the last moments of its dying breath, you know?
Well, it has no breath either. The state is not deep. It's not shallow. It's a figment of our imagination.
It's a
not
company.
Even real. It's an entity. It is a business entity.
And infighting within the government, it's so like unimportant. Who cares about the inner workings of this business? It's a company, and if you understand the law and you register your name, you're not part of it. So who cares what they do? Who cares who the CEO is? What's the difference? We're giving it way too much power. So.
And this one's been a problem for longer than
this
just
one should have been on
Yeah.
2018's list too. It's been a problem for a long time. Yeah.
Better late than never, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This kind of goes with deep state a little bit. The people who talk about deep state also talk about secret space program.
Yes, secret space program. There is no program. Humans cannot get into space.
No way.
That's just a lie. And it's not secret either, because if people at high-priced conferences are talking about it, apparently the secret is out.
Right. You have to be very careful about easily accessible information. If it becomes extremely easy to get, or if it's on television, okay, this kind of stuff is mainstream doctrine.
Well, if it's on television, it has to be true.
Well,
right?
I guess that's true. But I laugh my ass off. I mean, whenever anyone talks about the moon landing, I am on the floor laughing. I can't help it. We were watching a Star Trek episode last night, and they found the wreckage of a NASA spaceship from hundreds of years ago. I was on the floor.
Sharon just bursts out laughing, and I'm like biting my cheek because I know why she's laughing.
Oh my God. It's just the idea of humans in space to me is hysterical. I don't care how convinced you are that humans can go into space. They
and those
can't
big bulky
do it.
spacesuits, my God, it's like Halloween costumes.
I know.
I got my little air tank, and I'm jumping around. I'm inserting a flag into the dust.
Right. And actually, I've been reading a lot about outer space lately, and I will mention that something I read a long time ago, and this is where I started to really understand this, was Contact with Space by Wilhelm Reich, where he understands this and says this in the 50s, okay, before humans supposedly went to the moon. He said it's not possible for human beings to get into space beyond with jet propulsion. You have to be able to use the life force energy. That's how the aliens that do travel to other planets and other worlds, that's how they do it. They are at one with the universal energy, the cosmic life force energy, and that's how they travel. We can't do this with jet propulsion. The distances are too great, and the distance isn't even really a distance as we know it. It's dimensional differences. It's not possible. I think that it's such a grand hoax that we've been to the moon that even people who were involved in that program really believe it because of what they saw on screens. And I've talked to one who was there, and he really believed it because of what he was seeing on the screen. I think the hoax is that big. But we do have to be very careful about this information, because what this is doing is it's putting a lot of importance on the government, again, like deep state. And it's also falsifying the methods of how we will eventually get into space. It's totally clouding over the importance of universal cosmic orgone energy as a means to travel. And it's also very false about this view of the other planets as being places where you need these elaborate suits to breathe and be there. We don't know anything about the other planets. From accounts of George Adamski, who had contact with beings from other planets. Now, whether these are true or not, I could tell you from the information they gave him that I think it did happen. I don't know if every detail happened the way he said it or not, but the information they gave him could have only come from another life form from another planet. And they describe the planets of our solar system as fully inhabitable. So this whole NASA thing is a joke. And also, planets do not look like globes with water and land like that from a distance. They look like balls of light. Just to let you know, that's straight from the Saturnian and Martians' mouths. Okay, believe me or not. It's not like the humans say it is.
The Saturnians' mouths. I like that. Yeah,
right.
The people who are supposedly going into space, there's no way that these are the same people that created our next word.
TikTok. I don't know what it is. I don't want to know what it is.
I don't either. Next word.
Okay. Okay. White privilege. Sensitive topic here. Now, I will just say that this is one I was actually kind of apprehensive about putting on the list, but the problem is right now no one is privileged. So to call any race privileged, I live around a
Wrong.
lot of white people, and I assure you, there is no one quite privileged in this community. It's pretty rough kind of a place.
It is. There's no one who has it easy right now.
No.
So this, it's just a lie. You could put any race or any group of people in there. It's just not the case.
This is divisive again. It's just a way of saying, oh, if you have this color skin like us, okay, I'm really privileged. I'm privileged, but not because of my skin color. I'm privileged because I have a relationship with God. But
Because you have ears to hear and eyes to see.
Yeah.
That's why.
And most white people that I know and most people who live around here are white are far from privileged. I challenge you to find some privileged people on this mountain. I mean, people work really, really hard and barely get by. So I think that that's a problem for people of all colors. And it's ridiculous to say that one race has it better than another. Of course, black people have it worse than white people. I'm not saying that. But to say that white people have it so good because of their skin color. As far as I can tell right now, everyone is losing their jobs. Everyone is suffering because of this phony pandemic. So I'd like to get off of the idea of humans being privileged on these bases and understand the only way to actually gain any of our rights back is through our Creator.
And we need to stop this whole dialogue of who is less privileged than whom. It's not a contest. We need to solve actual problems, and we're not going to do it by having this competition of who is more of a victim, because look at what's going on in the world. It's not going to get better the way things are going, so we have to do something
The whole
different.
system has to be completely taken down. That's kind of what we're working on. That's what we've been working on for years with Orgone Energy, just increasing the life force energy. And there's other things we've been doing, which over the next year we hope to discuss more in depth because we're learning more and are now going to be able to explain more ways to protect ourselves. But yeah, the human race is far from privileged right now. And we really, instead of dividing up like this, we need to all get together and solve these problems. And it's not like a put our heads together kind of a thing and solve it. It's that we need to be together. We need each other's support. And it will only come from being together and coming back to our Creator.
By and through actions, not words. So that's it for our Forbidden Words list. I'm sure we'll have more in 2022. So
I hope so. But
chew on this for a while.
I hope we have a few more because we do need to keep on like weeding this stuff out of the vocabulary. But I do also hope that we don't end up with more horrible words in 2021 to mind control us, divide us.
I'm sure we will.
Do you see the theme here? Division, fear. Those are like the big ones here. We're afraid of diseases. We're afraid of the government. And then they also get the people who... there's some people who are just so in the mainstream that they're literally just scared of the disease, and then the people like us who are kind of like coming out of it, and we're not in the mainstream, we see past the media narratives, then they get people like us scared of mandatory vaccines and scared of the government shutting down our businesses and stuff like that.
Even
It's just
scared,
it all needs to stop.
Even scared of the power getting turned off on our special holidays.
Oh, they do it every holiday. They do that.
But they can't do it anymore because we just got 6 to 8 inches of snow.
Yeah. So good luck saying there's going to be a wildfire with all this snow. But yeah, things are actually going very well. 2021 is going to be a good year. I do not see the horror of 2020 carrying over into 2021, at least for those of us with the eyes to see what's real. And we really can't worry too much about the ones that won't come with us back to God, back to reality. We just have to keep on doing our best, share truth where you can. And if people don't want to hear it, don't force them, because not everyone is ready for this and not everyone's coming along.
In fact, very, very few. So don't expect just a tidal wave here, because it's just going to be just one by one.
Yeah, it's just little by little. People are going to wake up more and more. So we'll have some more learning tools for you in 2021. And please check out our website, thekembo.com. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you again really soon.